This year, I finally hit $100,000 in my retirement account, a goal that I reached in just 4 years. What once felt like a distant dream is now a reality. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I achieved this significant financial goal in just 4 years. I'm going to go over the specific numbers and breaking down each step for clarity. We'll also dive into why aiming for that initial 100K is such a crucial move for anyone serious about building lasting wealth. This target doesn't just give you a realistic goal to chase, it also lays out a clear roadmap that can lead you to your first $1 million with confidence. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. All of this is basically based on my own experience. So make sure you contact a professional before making any kind of financial decision. A couple of years ago, I had a deep conversation about money with my aunt, who was in her late 40s back then. She said something that really stuck with me. She said, "I'm going to die without ever seeing $1 million in my bank account." At the time, I was in my early 20s, full of energy and ambition, and I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, why would she put that kind of limit on herself? It just felt like she was basically giving up on financial success before she even had a chance. I think one of the best things about being young is the belief that the world is so full of possibilities. This mindset drives you to chase goals that might seem impossible to others. Now, I come from a place where making good money isn't easy. So it is very understandable why someone might think they will never hit $1 million mark. But I just can't accept that kind of thinking, because to me, believing you will never reach something is like giving up before you have even started. I would rather hold on to the idea that anything is possible, no matter the odds. This is why hitting $100,000 in my retirement account wasn't just about the money. It was a personal win. Seeing that six-figure number felt like a turning point. It showed me that financial independence isn't just a distant dream. It is something achievable. Reaching 100K is often seen as the hardest financial milestone. This is because at the beginning, when you don't have a lot of capital or money, compound interest doesn't seem to make a big difference. Let me explain. If you invest $1,000 and earn a 10% return, you'll essentially be making $100 by the end of the year. So you will have 1.1K in total. If you invest $10,000 though, at the same 10% return, you'll be earning $1,000, bringing your total to $11,000. Now, what if you have 100K and 10% return? Then you'll be making $10,000, so your investment grows to $110,000. And with a $1 million invested at 10%, you are basically making a full-time salary of 100K, giving you a total of $1.1 million. This is what people mean when they talk about money working for you. Instead of leaving your money in the bank account, basically earning little to no interest, it is better for you to invest it in something like an asset that will provide a good return for the year. That way you let your money grow on its own. Now, let's expand this example by looking at the time it actually takes to reach 100K and then $1 million. For a more realistic scenario, let's use a return of 7%, which is basically the average annual return of the stock market index S&P 500 over several decades. This rate of return takes into account the ups and downs of the market and also inflation, providing a more accurate picture of the potential growth over time. Let's also assume that we will contribute 10K every single year. So in the first year, we will have our initial 10K contribution at a 7% interest rate, which will result in $10,700 by the end of the year. This means that we earn basically $700 in interest in the first year. Now, moving on to the year number 2, we basically start with the initial $10,000 and $700 carryover from year 1 and add our $10,000 contribution. Calculating 7% on the combined amount of $20,700 give us a profit of $1,449, bringing the total to $22,149 by the end of year 2. If we continue to contribute $10,000 every single year, we will see our investment grow significantly. So by the end of year 8, our consistent contribution and the power of compounding interest will help us reach our first $100,000. The journey to the second $100,000 happens between year 12 and 13, taking approximately 4.5 years. When aiming for the $300,000 mark, it takes about 3.5 years to reach this milestone. This is why the first $100,000 is the hardest, because it requires significantly more effort and time to achieve. And this is also why everyone talks about cutting your costs on coffee, avocado toast, and all this different thing, because the initial phase is the hardest. After that, you can enjoy your life a little bit more. Here is the interesting part about compound interest and the importance of starting early, as it truly makes your money work harder for you. In the first year, a 10K contribution only gave us $700 in profit from the 7% interest. However, by the time you actually reach year 11, the interest rate alone has generated a profit of $11,000, while we only contributed $10,000 annually, as we have always done. From this year onward, the profit from the 7% interest begins to yield significantly more than our annual contribution. This is essentially showcasing the remarkable power of compound interest over time. Now, quick ask here. If you find value in this video, please give this video a like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't yet. I'll greatly appreciate your support. Now let's take a look at what happened if you actually contribute 20K every single year instead of 10K. In this scenario, it will actually take 4.5 years in order for you to reach your first 100K compared to 8 years. Then it will take an additional 3 years to reach 200K and 2.5 years to reach 300K. To reach $1 million, it would take 22 years, and the second $1 million happened in year 30th. With the 100K annual contribution, you will only get $1 million by year 30th. To invest and save for retirement, you need to have a very stable and sufficient income. In 2023, the median personal income in the United States was about $61,412. This means that half of the population earns less and half of the other population earns more. While $61,000 a year might seem high, the cost of living vary by the place that you live in or the state. So in some metro area, this income might only cover basic expenses. On average, an individual needs about $36,000 to $55,000 or $54,000 annually in order to pay for the essential, like transportation, housing, food, healthcare, utilities, and daily necessities. There are 3 core principles for building wealth that you should always keep in mind. First, it is essential to increase your income by seeking better job opportunities, investing in skills development, or starting a side hustle. Your income might involve taking on additional responsibilities at your current job, or even exploring new fields that offer higher salaries. If you need more ideas on how to increase your earned income, check out my other video, how I built a 200K side hustle while working full-time. I will put the link in the description down below. Second, reducing your debt is crucial. This can be achieved by creating a budget, cutting unnecessary expenses, and focusing on paying off high-interest loans. Creating a budget allows you to basically track your spending habit and also identify areas where you can cut back. By focusing on paying off high-interest loans first, you can save money on interest payments and also reduce your debt more quickly. Lastly, you should always leverage your tax advantage accounts such as your 401k plans, IRAs, HSA, to maximize your long-term savings and also minimize tax liabilities. These accounts offer significant tax benefits that can help your money grow more efficiently over time. Now, by diligently applying this principle, you can set a very strong foundation for financial success. Now, this is why I have different side hustles that earn me extra income while I work full-time. Having multiple streams of income not only helps me meet my financial obligations, but also provide a safety net in case of unexpected expenses or job loss. By diversifying my income sources, I can ensure greater financial stability and security for the future. Now, how I saved $100,000 in 4 years. I started by making regular contribution to my 401k from 2021 to 2024. The plan was very simple. Invest consistently in the S&P 500 and let the market returns build over time. This strategy basically leveraged the power of compounding, which we saw before, where your investment gains generate their own gains, creating a snowball effect. Now, let's take a look at how the math works out each year. I basically max out the 401k contribution limit every single year. So in 2021, I contributed $19,500. So by the end of 2021, the S&P 500 had a strong year with 26.9% return. My $19,500 grew to $24,746. 2022 was a pretty rough year with the stock market dropping a negative 19.4%. The $24,746 that I had basically shrank to $19,945. Now, I added another $20,500, which was the maximum contribution for 2022, which after the market drop was worth around $16,523. So by the end of 2022, I had a total of $36,468. In 2023, the market actually bounced back with a gain of 16.3%. So the $36,468 that was carryover from 2022 plus the $22,500 I contributed for the year actually yielded a profit of $9,612. So by the end of 2023, my total was $68,580. Since 2024 is not over yet, let's assume that the return for this year is actually 10%. I contributed an additional $23,000 plus the $68,580 that was carryover from last year, and at a 10% return, this basically brings my total to $100,738. My total investment over the past 4 years of $85,500 has grown to approximately $100,738. This happened by consistently investing through the ups and downs of the market, allowing time and compound interest to do the heavy lifting for me. This is actually very close to the 20K contribution scenario that we saw before, basically reaching 100K in about 4 years. And according to the calculation that we saw before, I should be having 200K by 2027 and 300K milestone by 2030, if not sooner, because the contribution limit for the 401k increases slightly each year. So by trusting the process, I'm certain that my 401k will hit $1 million by the time I hit 50. Now, if you find yourself unable to max out your contribution for the 401k retirement plan, that's completely fine and understandable. Financial circumstances vary for everyone, and it is very important to prioritize your immediate financial needs as well. However, I strongly recommend contributing at least up to the employer match if your job offers one, because this is essentially free money that can significantly boost your retirement saving over time. Taking advantage of this employer match is a smart financial move that ensures that you're not leaving any money on the table. That's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.